All
Good
right.
morning,
Good
good
morning.
afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us on another exciting adventure, an episode of Tech Tuesdays. We are in person, live in sunny Boca Raton, Florida. We are in a new month, and I'm required by the state of Florida. A new law just went into effect today, April 1st. I want to confirm that there was no AI or ML used in the creation of this podcast. We are live human beings. I'm not so sure about Dennis sometimes.
Robotics.
We are not bots. There is no green screen. This is a live TV.
I do have an AI avatar, so
There you go.
could be part of
We
it.
are using a lot of technology live and in person. Sometimes it doesn't work. So, welcome again. Thank you for joining us live. If you're watching the replay, thank you. What is Tech Tuesdays? It's a joint uh, project partnership between the Owwll app and the South Florida Tech Hub. If you have the Owwll app, thank you. If you don't have the Owwll app, you've got time to go ahead and download it, configure your profile, because we will be making some call outs. If this is the first time you've used the Owwll app, use the referral code thank you, and we'll give you $10. Who am I and why am I here? Well, I'm Jeffry Ullman. I am Director of Membership of South Florida Tech Hub. If you are a member, by the way, Matthew, thank you for being a member.
Pleasure.
If you're not a member, reach out to me on the Owwll app and we'll talk about membership. Speaking of the Owwll app, I have office hours Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m., and I go live periodically throughout the day. Couple of quick announcements, then we'll get started. Tech Hub does a lot of things, including events. We have 4 core pillars. One of our pillars is community. And what do we mean by community? Part of that is encouraging underserved communities in the tech community, like women. I think we'd all agree there aren't enough women in the tech community. Hi, Steph, by the way. Thank you, Steph, for everything you do. South Florida Tech Hub has an annual Women's Empowerment Breakfast. It's coming up Friday, April 25th. You might want to attend, Steph. All you professional women out there, it's going to be interesting. It's actually at the City Furniture headquarters in Tamarack, Florida. Little tidbit. If you come to this event, you'll get to see the inside of the City Furniture headquarters, and they don't usually open it up to the public. They are the sponsor. So it should be a great event for empowering women in tech. One of the other, I think, underserved communities is software developers. Oftentimes we think and focus too much on sales, marketing, and not the actual technical teams. So South Florida Tech Hub has an annual event called SoFlo DevCon. It's aimed at software developers and related topics. By the way, you should apply to speak, given the technology in your app. We do have a call for speakers. You too, Dennis, given how you leverage technology. It's going to be Saturday, May 17th at Nova University. I was there last year. We had over 1,000 people. There is a form, and we do have a call for speakers. Our biggest event of the year, a little further out in the year, new name, Tech Hub Pulse, formerly known as Techpalooza. It's going to be Thursday, December 4th at the Broward Convention Center, same place IT Expo was a couple of weeks ago. We also have a call for speakers. Same thing, Matthew, Dennis, you should apply to speak there. So that's enough for me for now. Dennis, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then he'll introduce Matthew, and we'll get started.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Stealing your lines.
Good
It's
morning.
okay.
Welcome back to Tech Tuesday, South Florida Tech Hub, powered by Owwll. I'm Denis Sinelnikov. I run a full-service digital marketing agency here in South Florida and also office in Pennsylvania. We're excited today because we have an expert of the day, Matthew from DiabeticU. We're going to get into some of the technology, some of the South Florida networking opportunities that South Florida Tech Hub has to offer. But I'm also excited to ask some technical AI questions. How does Matthew leverage AI in healthcare? That's the popular topic nowadays, healthcare, AI. So we're merging both. But Matthew, can you give us a little bit of background about yourself, about your company, what made you start this venture, and later on we can get into how you're leveraging South Florida Tech Hub network to grow your company and brand awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. First, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate being on. So DiabeticU is a diabetes management platform that essentially gives users with diabetes the ability to manage everything in one place. So we look at the person, do an onboarding experience, and then give them the ability to create personalized meal and exercise plans. We provide education from diagnosis all the way through so that they're educating themselves and improving their health literacy. We're also a Dexcom Health Apps partner, so we connect with all the different wearable devices. With you considering your continuous glucose monitors, regular glucose meters, fitness wearables, digital weight scales. We're adding sleep and stress data, things like that as well. And then on the other side of that, we actually then pair them with certified diabetes educators through telehealth and registered dietitian nutritionists, as well as health coaches, so that we're creating a personalized care system for that person in their care journey.
Well, that's exciting. And I was just on your website looking at your app. The UI is really modern and trendy. So you guys do a great job on the graphics on the app. It looks like
I like the logo too, by the way.
Thank
Nice
you.
logo.
Do
And
you
by
get-
the way, I'm sure you'd agree, the name of your company is important.
Absolutely.
So great name, by the way.
what does the U stand for?
So it's a combination meaning. So diabetic U is essentially you as in the person,
Mhm.
but also university. So your education and learning
I like it.
and
So
part of your journey.
so basically you can have like a whole lifestyle, like how to keep healthy, your diet, the sports, and you said you integrate with wearables. Does the iWatch, like Apple Watch, does that include part of your integration?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Apple Watch, Samsung Watch,
Mhm.
Fitbit, Garmin. We connect with about 300 plus different devices.
Wow. So who tracks the data, and do you use AI for that? That was my follow-up questions. Like who, if I have, for example, a loved one that has diabetic, um, and they need constant monitoring, with meals and lifestyle, regimens. Like who's behind the scenes and recommends certain plans and the way it should be properly set up.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, there's formulations for and formulas for what a actual meal plan should be for somebody living with diabetes. And we use certain algorithms for that. That's not an AI generated. There's actually an algorithm based on what's called the Mifflin St. Jean equation. It's kind of the gold standard in diabetes.
Hmm.
And that's how we create the meal and exercise plans. With that, though, on the backside, when you asked about the data,
Hmm.
we don't utilize any kind of AI in the data yet. We're
Mhm.
collecting a lot of our data. We are actually creating a clean data hub. So all of the data that we're going to utilize is going to be our data from our platform.
Hmm.
Now, when you talk about data, though, that's every individual person's data.
Yeah.
That's not something we're sharing. That's their private data. So when we're talking about a collection, they have the ability to view their data in a data dashboard that actually shows them all of the different instances together, so they can see what their glucose levels are in a time range, as well as when they ate, when they exercises, and see the impacts of those different different items.
So let me take a step back. Kind of some personal information here, but you'll see why it's relevant. I have a 36-year-old son who has type 1 diabetes. He was diagnosed when he was 1.5. So we've lived with type 1 diabetes for 35 plus years. One of the things I've noticed, Matthew, and you and I talked about this, sometimes people, and I can understand why, aren't familiar with the differences between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. So why don't you talk a little about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So type 1 diabetes is a lot different, and it does get mischaracterized. There's actually a lot of people that they diagnose as type 2 that actually are late blooming type 1s as
Right.
well.
Right.
Where with type 1 actually is when your body is killing your cells that make insulin. So it's no longer able to produce insulin.
Right.
So then you become insulin dependent, right? It's not an option. Whereas type 2 is a little bit different. You're able to create insulin, but you have insulin resistance.
Mhm.
So it's more of you can control it a little bit better with diet and management. Type 1, usually not always usually onsets earlier in life, but it can lay latent and not
Right.
expand until you're 30, 40 years old.
Right.
Whereas type 2 is usually a little bit later on in life as well.
Right. Good answer. So a little history. Type 1 diabetes used to be called juvenile diabetes because typically, oftentimes, it was younger people like my son, 1.5. But the medical community has changed the name because, as Matthew mentioned, you can get type 1 when you're 30 or 40. So the two official names, so to speak, type 1, as Matthew mentioned, completely insulin dependent. Your pancreas is not producing insulin, whereas type 2, you may be producing some, typically later in life, somewhat more diet and lifestyle related. But oftentimes people use the term diabetes and it's not clear whether they mean type 1, type 2, or both. So thanks for that clarification. A question about your solution. And this is kind of a standard startup model. Talk a little about, so let me back up. DiabeticU is not a nonprofit. You are a for-profit company, which is great. Talk a little about your free model, your premium model, and what you actually have in the components of your solution.
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, we do have a direct to consumer product as well. Most of our business is actually business to business, and I could discuss that later.
Good point.
So where we are really looking for different organizations that are actually paying for this for the end user. We deal with managed care organizations, accountable care organizations, concierge medicine, and above. And we're also looking to expand that into self-insured companies and insurance as that starts to build out and grow. But I will talk about the actual direct to consumer because that's actually a really important point for me. I have type 2 diabetes myself, which is one of the reasons that I started the company. So one of the challenges that I had and one of the reasons that I ended up on this pathway for DiabeticU was that I was trying to find solutions for myself. And there was a couple of solutions on the market that I felt maybe, at least I'd want to try to see if it would be something that worked for me. But because I didn't work for a certain company or have a certain insurance, I didn't even have the ability to get it. And it wasn't because I didn't have the means. I was willing to pay for this solution, but it wasn't even available. So that was actually pretty disheartening for me as an end user, as somebody living with diabetes. So I wanted to make sure for our organization that we don't go that route, that we always have the ability for someone, if they have the means to get it, they have the opportunity, as well as if they don't, they have a free version that also gives them the ability to, do some of the functions as well.
That's a great point. So is the actual app for end users free?
So yes, there's a yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay.
It depends on if there's a payer for that. Now, if they would like to utilize the free version, they can do that. And the free version actually is pretty good as well. You're able to, track all your meals, track your medication. You're able to go in, create your own meal plans by yourself manually. You're actually able to go through all of our different recipes, and you're able to do a lot of that. Now, what you won't be able to do is connect your, continuous glucose monitors and your
devices.
In the
premium version,
right? And you won't be able to use our artificial intelligent virtual assistant, which we can go over a little bit later. Yep. And then the other thing is you won't be able to create and the system generated meal plans that'll create meal plans and change those meal plans as you're growing and going along.
So the premium, there's a free version, the premium version. Does the price vary, as you mentioned, if it's covered by your insurance plan versus maybe you don't have that and you want the premium version? What's the price or cost of the premium subscription?
Well,
or does it vary?
No, it does not vary.
Okay.
So if it's covered, it's covered. Right now we have it on the low end because we're just coming out, so we have it for $4.99 a month. I believe it's $49 for the year.
Okay.
And that will change as we grow and as we're building out and developing. But we did want to have a nice initial offer for everybody.
Okay. Since we're kind of talking about that, go ahead and so I'm assuming it's available for Android and iPhone.
Absolutely.
And it's in the Google Play Store and in the App Store today. The name is, well, go ahead and spell out the actual name and your URL of your website. in case someone wants to go and look up more information as well.
Absolutely. We got lucky with that. Our name is DiabeticU, and the URL is www.diabeticu.com. So we did get lucky with that one.
Okay, makes sense.
So, I see on your website you also have a partnership program that you're looking to partner up with, healthcare. You mentioned business organizations. Can you develop a little bit more? What kind of partnerships are you looking to acquire this year or partner up with? What kind of organizations specifically?
Yeah, we're definitely looking to partner with managed care organizations, accountable care organizations, concierge medicine groups that are really focused and may have a diabetes program. I mean, everyone should will have that diabetes program, but want to add a newer technology stack to it, the ability to personalize that experience more than what's going on now, and create a better platform for their users.
If somebody doesn't have a mobile device, all they're using is maybe a computer, do you have a web browser-based software they can use?
We do not yet. We will coming up in other releases, but it is for the mobile. And part of the reason that is you're on the go, right? One of the biggest things that we're focusing on is not only personalizing the care, but more importantly, helping them self-manage. One of the biggest challenges in all of diabetes management is people that are able to follow their care plan. And the really one of the main reasons they're not able to follow their care plan is there's a lot of decisions that go into it.
Right.
It's complicated, right? So you have to make so many decisions on the fly. Where if you're out to eat with with the kids or the family, or if you are going and want to figure out you need to grab a snack on the go, all those decisions affect your diabetes management. So we're truly focused on tools that will help them self-manage throughout their journey and stay closer into their care plans.
So your app has a feature where I can scan a product and it'll tell me all the nutritional facts, if I can take it or not, or I can eat this product. Is that something maybe you're releasing soon? Or
yeah, we actually are. So we already have barcode scanning on the back end. There's a way that you can do that right now and see all the macronutrients of it. We're actually changing the UI so that it's just, if you're at the grocery store and want to check, you can just check.
Right.
It's actually part of our food logging. We have barcode scanning, and when you scan the barcode, it does bring up all the macronutrients. We have to change the AI. I mean, not the UI of it to show that in the front side. But yes, we do have that feature.
That's cool. So, and you probably have reminders like, hey, you have to take your insulin shot. Like, do you have these type of AI reminders for people to manage their things?
They're not AI reminders, but we do have, so you can set in your medication schedule. We do set reminders to take your medications depending on what they are. Insulin is a little bit different, and we haven't dove directly into insulin because we're not focused on type 1 yet, and it's a bigger tackle as well.
Right.
Insulin isn't just I'm taking it at a certain time. There's a lot of factors that go into when you're taking insulin, whether it's your glucose is rising because of something you ate. So it's based on timing, and there's different types of insulin as well. So there's short acting insulin, long acting insulin, things like that. So that all affects the way that you're taking that medication. We don't control that yet, or we don't have levers for that yet. We will. We're actually working on integration with a lot of the different insulin pumps so that we'll be able to bring in that data and bring that into the platform. That's a little bit more of a build out, though.
Yeah. So you just kind of confirmed the conversation we were having, the difference between type 2 and type 1. Type 1, I would agree with you. Type 1, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, is a more complex condition. A lot more factors go in, like taking of the insulin. I've done that for my son, with my son. So it's a non-trivial thing to do. You want to do it correctly.
Absolutely.
As well. So it'd be fair to say right now your business model, at least today, is more focused on type 2 diabetes. Fair statement?
Yeah, we are currently focused on prediabetes and type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
And the only reason for that, there's two reasons, right? One, we're really focused on building this from the user perspective, from what are the true needs and solutions that are needed from the person living every day with these chronic conditions. I have quite a bit of experience in type 2 because that's what I am.
Right.
So when we are going to build out a type 1, type 1 assets within our platform so that's available for type
That's
1 as
good.
well. But what we're going to do is we're building out a think tank with a lot of different people in the tech world that are also living with type 1 diabetes
Right.
so that we can create the proper solutions for them as well.
Good point.
Now, when you gather up all the data, and I say there's a connection to the healthcare aspect, is there some kind of a data that goes to the healthcare provider, like the concierge medicine, or how does the doctor? Is there a way that they can look into your account and see what you have been doing, your nutrition plan, exercise? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we create comprehensive reports. Right now, that's in PDF form, but our users are in control of their data. Right. That's we are very, very focused on data privacy. So it is up to our users what they share and what they do not. Now they can create comprehensive reports in a PDF form. We actually give them the ability to do them simple by just hitting a 7-day report, 30, 60, 90-day, or they can create custom range reports as well that they can then share with their providers. We are working on the next steps of actually pushing that and connecting into the electronic medical records and electronic health record systems so that will be just shared directly to their providers. Right now they'll be able to send it to their providers in email, but it does give a breakdown if depending on the length of the report, whether it's if we just say a 90-day report, it'll give a overview of the 90 days and give all the stats for an overview of that, and then it'll also break it down day by day. So it's a really long report that gives them 90 days, but if you want to look at it from a macro level for the care providers, if you want to look at it from macro level, you can look at the overview. If you want to get in and dive in a little bit on the micro level and see where some of these challenging days were, or some of the problems that they're having, you can do that as well. And that's when you get really good details as well, because you can see we do things like what's called a spike report, which tells when their glucose spiked and if there was something that associated with that spike. But now that is if they logged it. But if they logged a meal and then that spiked their glucose level, it'll actually, pair those together so that a provider can see like, well, hey, we went to Burger King and I had a Whopper with cheese and onion rings, and I see that, I went to a certain level.
Right.
So they'll be able to get those micro reports.
So if somebody's looking for, more micro level, like biohacking, you can narrow down specific metrics.
Absolutely.
Is there a way to import like your blood test into the app and then let it kind of figure out your nutrition plan based on your results?
No, but that's for the nutrition plan, that's not needed. Now we're working on two different things. One, yes, we're working on the ability to upload your PDF and it just read your PDF and be able to store your different levels in there for your blood test. But the second part of that as well is we're also working on backsides where the nutritionists are able to adjust your care plans based on if there's other comorbidities and things like that are involved.
Just to clarify, I think you did say, so most of by the way, a glucometer, we use this term, that's what measures your blood sugar. Your blood sugar is called glucose level. You have a standard range, your body, usually 80 to 120 roughly is considered normal. Anything higher or lower is out of range. Most of the glucometers today, I think you said in your premium version, it can send the glucose readings directly to your app in the premium version. Did I understand that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that was a great question, Dennis. The free version does not have that. That's another reason to consider the premium version. You don't have to manually enter your blood sugar readings. Let me shift gears a little. So you're a startup. I think you said you've been in business about 3 years.
That's correct.
So as a startup, are you currently looking for investment?
Actually, yes, we just started an investment round. So we are currently raising $1 million at this point for our round right now.
So if, and this kind of relates back to my next question. First of all, you've been a great guest.
Thank you.
I knew you would be. That's why I had you on. If someone wants to follow up, potentially invest, I know they can reach out to you on LinkedIn. We talked a little about the Owwll app. Have you thought about, are you going to have office hours or go live periodically in the Owwll app as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have already set up some office hours for this week. I will just like you go live randomly as well, and I'll continue to have office hours throughout.
What did you currently set your office hours?
Oh man, you're asking a loaded
Okay,
question.
that's all right.
I believe it's 9 to 10 in the
We'll
morning.
go
I
and look
don't
at
know.
we'll go and look in your app.
You got to catch them while you can.
So
April Fools.
there you go.
So I have a.
So-
I ha-
One quick thing. So follow the best way is go in the Owwll app, follow Matthew. That way you'll know when he goes live, and you'll get alerted. So the Owwll app will let you know if you follow Matthew when he's available in office hours or when he goes live. So you can do that today. Go ahead, Dennis. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Matthew. How many years have you been involved with South Florida Tech Hub, and how are you utilizing like the face-to-face networking here in South Florida? Anywhere from Miami to West Palm and up north. There's so much going on for the technology industry, technology meetups. There's events, expos. How have you been leveraging South Florida Tech Hub to kind of grow your brand?
Oh, and every way possible. I love being connected. I think that in any industry that you're in, networking is the number one thing you can do, no matter what you do. And South Florida Tech Hub is superior to everything else down here. One, they have a very large community, but they also throw great events. From Tech Palooza, which is now
Tech Hub Pulse.
Tech Hub Pulse,
Thank you.
which I've attended already last year,
Yep.
and I attend a lot of the events that they have. Majority of the events that they have, I'd say. I also like the thing. My favorite part is that it's not just about events; it's about community. And one of the biggest parts about that is they also have cohorts within these communities. I don't know if you call them cohorts, but I mean, it's for us, in my sector, right? Whereas I'm in tech, but I'm technically health tech.
Yeah,
And
healthcare tech.
so when I go to tech events, it's not directed directly to what I'm
Right.
looking for,
Mm-hmm.
but they've actually built out a tech cohort, a health tech cohort within there as well.
That's a great point. We actually call it a peer group.
Peer groups, yes.
There you go. And it's I'm glad you mentioned that, because generally speaking, South Florida Tech Hub is cross vertical. The only vertical we really focus on, hence the peer group Health Tech Connect, is health tech. So that is a focus area for us as well.
Great. So I think I might have met you at some event because you might have been to Tech Palooza last year. Did you have a booth, or were you just gonna walk in the room?
No, I was speaking there, so I was
Okay.
So let's take a step way back. I don't think you mentioned this. Tell us a little about you personally, your journey, how you came. I don't think you were born in South Florida, correct?
I actually was.
Okay. Well, I'm wrong.
That is
I'm wrong.
very rare, by the way.
Yeah. So tell us a little your personal journey. How'd you get here in South Florida? Or, well, when you started here, what brought you back business wise?
You know what? I've actually been here a majority of my life. I did have a small stint in Atlanta and a small stint in Colorado. But South Florida is home to me. You can't beat it. Everybody else is, in snowstorms, and we're on the beach. So I'm a tropical baby. I enjoy the ocean and everything with the temperature. I actually grew up surfing, but I haven't surfed in years.
Mm-hmm.
Probably would die on a wave right now. But as far as business, I've been across an executive in a few different industries, and prior to this, I ended up in healthcare consulting for staffing companies, and was there for about 10 years. It wasn't that pushed me into the DiabeticU. It was actually about 6 years ago. I was actually diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I come from a long history of diabetes in my family. My father had it for 30 plus years. I had, a lot of complications because of it. And that was more from a lack of education, a lack of understanding. Of course, that is getting better, still not where it needs to be by far,
Right.
but it is getting a lot better. But, back then, I mean, my dad's understanding was eat whatever he wanted and take a shot of insulin, and make sure he was taking his metformin or whatever the case may be. But that also caused a lot of problems long-term with his condition. And going through myself, when I was diagnosed, it really, it hit me hard because I grew up as an athletic person, never really had any type of health issues, any ailments. So it was a very, very big deal for me. But I have that type of personality where, like, okay, I'm going to beat this. I'm going to figure this out. It was not as easy as that sounds. It's very complicated. It's very hard to understand. When they tell you, well, go eat less carbs, eat less sugar, add some exercise, and take your medication, everything will be fine. No, it's not like that.
Right.
So,
One comment on that, and you didn't really talk about this, but it's also important to have a community of support, to talk to other people that have a similar condition that you can talk to. It's very it can be very lonely if you're out there and you have this condition and there's no community to get support from. So you're also building a community
absolutely.
of like-minded, like-bodied, I guess, people.
So you do have like kind of like a social network where people can talk to each other, or groups within the app?
No, we don't have that yet. That is, we're building out a lot of different things that will end up into the community space as well. We're actually even building out peer groups and stuff like that to where they can do exercise, challenges together and things like that.
Yeah, nice.
Maybe there's a way to integrate and create a group on Owwll.
There you go.
All the Owwll. By the way, Jason, the founder of Owwll, is standing in the back. Maybe that's something you and Jason can talk about, because there are various groups on the Owwll app.
Yeah. So speaking of Owwll, I think we're gonna actually do some outbound calling and see who we can get on the phone.
So again, we're live and in person.
Okay, it looks like
A lot of technology going on. We are calling John Morgan.
You have a lot of credits here.
I do.
Jeffrey.
John, good morning.
How you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
First of all, don't mean to interrupt.
Disclosure.
Yep. You are live on a podcast. We are recording your voice and your Owwll profile, broadcasting it to the free world. Are you okay with that? I need a verbal yes.
Yes.
Okay.
$5 a minute.
There you go. You're worth it. So thank you for that, John. Thanks for taking the call. Do a quick intro of who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I'm John Morgan. I'm a local friend to a bunch of you guys, and I'm the founder of Connected Consultants. I do a really fun, interesting podcast called the Jammin' and Plannin' Podcast, and we're just out trying to help make the world a little bit better every single day.
That's great. I don't know if you had a chance to watch any of the podcasts so far. I'm going to let our expert of the day quickly introduce himself, and maybe you have a question.
Okay, I haven't had a chance. That's great.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Matthew, introduce yourself.
Hey, John, how you doing? I am Matthew Tremellen. I'm actually the founder of a health tech company called DiabeticU, which is a diabetes management platform.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, no, that's a huge problem. So tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so we have a technology stack that connects an application on their phone that gives them the ability to manage their diabetes in one place. We do personalized meal and exercise plans, education in multiple different forms to increase their health literacy. We actually connect all the different wearable devices so they can bring in their data and see how all the things that they're doing are affecting them positively and negatively. And then we have health coaches that guide them along, and then provide a lot of different self-management tools that help them self-manage as well. And on the other side of that, we are connecting them with telehealth providers that they're able to meet with certified diabetes educators, registered dietitian nutritionists, and health coaches that will utilize that data to even create more personalized care plans for them to bring them along their care journey.
Yeah, that's great. That's such a huge problem for so many people. I mean, everybody knows multiple people that suffer from diabetes, have lost their lives from diabetes, lost a limb from diabetes, and the fear of all of that, throughout their lifetimes is palpable. So that's great. So I've seen so many interesting new ways for folks to take their medicine automatically, which I think is so freeing and incredible. Are you guys doing anything in that arena, or is this separate, kind of like maintenance and making sure folks are educated and understanding their numbers and keeping them as healthy as possible? beyond the meds?
Yeah, the latter of that is we do not deal with any of the automated delivery. There's some great companies for that. Not a
Yeah.
lane we even need to step in, but
Yeah.
we will be integrating with those organizations as well to bring in the data and share that data and show, bring it into the cause and effect to show everything.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So how far along are you in this journey?
Yeah, we are actually pretty close to going to market. We've been in development for the last year and a
Oh,
half.
okay.
So we finished development about 6.5 months ago, went through a pretty extensive beta testing, and now we're doing a little bit of live testing before we actually go to market.
So I didn't ask you that. I had thought you were at a point of full production and launch. It sounds like you're a little pre-launch. When do you plan to do a full launch, production level?
So we are technically live on the market,
Okay.
but we are not doing any marketing or advertising
Okay.
yet.
A soft launch.
Yes, yeah, essentially. We did a beta testing with quite a bit of users with type 2 diabetes, and now we're doing live testing. So it is essentially a soft launch, and it actually is available on the market. But the only way you're going to get to it is if you search for it, because we don't have any marketing
Right.
going towards.
But you are in the App Store and Google Play. So people search.
Absolutely.
Yeah, DiabeticU is what they should search for
Correct.
the app as well. John, let's switch gears a little. I know you feel it's important to give back to the community as well. I know Matthew feels that way, and I feel that way. So, by the way, do you play a musical instrument?
I
do.
do not.
Oh, you asking him or me?
You? No, I'm asking Matthew. Okay.
Okay.
Because I was going to allude to I know what you do
Sure.
on the side with Jeb Reynolds and some of your musical events. I think you've got one coming up. You want to
Yes,
mention?
we do. But go ahead and answer. Do you are you musically talented over there?
Yeah. So a long and short story is I actually used to produce for a long time, but I have not in quite a bit of time.
Produce music, but not
Yes, correct.
play.
I play a keyboard, but
Okay, well, that's close enough for John's group. They're
not as good as most.
Well, it's okay because I'll let John talk, but they are looking for. I think you're really looking for non-professionals, but I'll let you explain what you do.
Yeah, no. Well, as far as the Jamming and Planning podcast, right now it was really designed for folks in financial services that are musicians or sing, and the idea was to bring together out. Than what you've seen out there so far, and it's been going really well. So that's strictly in financial services. That's musicians and singers that are in that space. But what we discovered is that because music is universal, we can go anywhere with this. So I do plan to take this further. We're not exactly sure where, but it can go anywhere because again, music is universal. And it's such a beautiful part of life that we want to share with others and promote them sharing it. And so the event that's coming up is really just a community give back event with me and Debbie Weems and Jason and Rob, Rose
and Jeb. Isn't Jeb going to play?
Wife. And so we're doing that event to raise awareness, raise some funds, and doing a clothing drive, all while having a blast, hearing live music, and then having live band karaoke to follow. The
charity is for a homeless-based charity, correct?
Yes, it's LifeNet for Families. They're over on Broward Boulevard, just west of 95. They've been taking care of the homeless community's families for decades. I've been working with them for a couple of decades, and they really do the work that most people couldn't handle on a daily basis. It's really hard work. It's really important work. And they do a really great job. It's not just clothing. They provide hot meals. They do the clothing, toys. They help people get back on their feet through education and housing and how to access benefits and just so many other things that when you're homeless, it is really hard to even just think straight, and to have a place to go where you can find a little bit of hope and help is really, really important.
Right. Dennis, any questions, thoughts?
No, that's great, great. Give back to the homeless. Anything that's involved with charity, I think that's great.
Yeah, and if you'd like to attend our event, you can jump up on stage and play keyboard. One thing I love about Jeb, when I attended his last SoFlo Pro Jam, was literally, he said, anybody that has an inkling to jump up on stage during any performance and play an instrument, sing background, whatever, feel free. And so it really is a real open event where people can just have a musical experience.
I might just bring my
unlike
accordion.
others.
So I think I've seen videos where people took him up on the offer and came and sang while he was doing live. So it was great.
Oh yeah, and they're really good. I was pleasantly surprised at how good of a band they are and how much fun it is to do live band karaoke versus the normal karaoke.
So
yeah,
John, we're only got a couple of seconds left. So Jeb Reynolds is a member of Tech Hub. He's in the house band for South Florida Tech Hub. Cyberdelics, get it? So you've got about 20 seconds, John. Anything you want to say, parting thoughts?
Yeah, no, thanks for the call. The event is Wednesday, April 9th from 6 to 10 p.m. at St. Pat's Irish Pub in the Cove in Deerfield Beach, right down on Hillsborough in the Intercoastal. Hope to see you all there. Hope to see you there, Jeffrey. And you guys have a great day, and thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So
Great one.
John, great to thank you for giving back. I knew that was important to you. Anybody out there want to follow up John Morgan? He's on the Owwll app. You can give him a call.
The Cove is a great place anyway.
Yeah, I love the
Cove.
The brewery up there. It's a nice new remodel.
So it's time of the day and time of the podcast that I don't like, but it happens in life. I think we're going to kind of wrap up. But what I like to do is do what I call go around the horn. So I'm going to let Denis go first, and then you go, and then I'll close the show. So anything you want to mention that we haven't talked about, any event, a new release, correct anything that we've said, any comments? I'm going to let Denis go first, and then you, and I'll close the show. How's that?
Perfect.
Yeah, Matthew, it was a pleasure meeting you. Very insightful conversation. I might have a couple of referrals. I have a couple of clients who are concierge doctors, one in Boca and one in Miami. So this might be a good connection for you because they also work with group plans. And the one guy in Miami, he deals with specifically, he calls them like tech bros. It's biohacking, people that are in the tech and really want to drill down their, health records and optimize their health. I don't know that, but I'm sure maybe some diabetics are in the mix as well, but I'll make that intro. Yeah. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks everybody tuning in. Again, this is Denis from Media Components. Jeffrey?
I'm going to and one thing we didn't, maybe you want to also mention, as Denis alluded to, you are actively looking for not only end consumers, but medical practices, concierge organizations to partner with for your app to offer it to their patients, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I don't know if you want to add to what I just said, go ahead, but also any parting thoughts.
Yeah. First off, definitely take you up on that offer. Would love to talk to especially smaller practices from concierge medicine, because we are doing some pilot programs as well that are mutually beneficial for both. And yeah, just as far as partnerships, we're definitely actively seeking managed care organizations that have a diabetes focused program. Populations from anywhere from 5,000, 60,000. And would love to start on a smaller pilot program, moving out from there. Managed care organizations, accountable care organizations, concierge medicine, and any healthcare organization that feels that it would be a beneficial platform for them. What was the other one?
Anything you haven't mentioned that you'd like to mention or promote
please.
or correct if we said anything incorrectly?
Yeah, we have some really exciting releases coming up. We actually have two different things that are coming in the pipeline here that are almost developed, in the tools within the application to help users make their journey more exciting and get better tools to self-manage. And the first one is we actually have geolocation services that are coming out that'll be pretty incredible. They'll be able to step into a restaurant. It'll notice they're in the restaurant and give them meal options that they can eat that fit their plan within that restaurant. So that's one of the features. And then the other thing is our points and rewards system. We're gamifying the experience as well to give them points and rewards based on all the different things that they do towards their health metrics.
So I'm going to ask you a question that I meant to ask you and I forgot. I know it's we're going to wrap up, but I think it's important because there's such an interest in AI. We talked a little about you have AI agents that consumers can interact with to help design a meal plan. Talk a little about your use of AI with those agents, and then I'll wrap up.
Yep, absolutely. Glad you caught that. So we do have an AI virtual assistant that gives our users the ability to do a lot of different things within our technology. So first off, they can ask diabetes related questions, and get answers for diabetes related questions. Now, we don't answer anything medical. So if they ask something that should be answered by a doctor, we'll actually refer them to the doctor. But there's a lot of different information that we will give based on those answers. The second part of that is we actually also have a feature called Smart Eating Assistant. So if they're out and about trying to figure out decision making at maybe a McDonald's or an Outback or something like that, they can simply say, hey, I'm at Outback. What are the options that would be good for me to eat here? And then it'll actually, respond to that. They can do things like voice logging with meals, medication, exercises, just saying, hey, I just did 15 minutes of walking. Can you please log that?
Those two AI agents currently available today?
Absolutely.
Is that in the free or the premium version, or on the website, or both?
Premium.
In the premium version. Okay. Anything else that I forgot to ask you? And I'm sure there is.
It's probably a million things. But I will wrap it up and just say, first off, thank you guys for having me. More importantly, thank you, South Florida Tech Hub and Owwll. I really appreciate all of the different events that Tech Hub puts on.
Thank you.
It is very helpful to the community. I know a lot of people have gained so much, whether it's got a new job or found a new partner or all these different things from that community. So you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
And appreciate you guys having me on here.
Thank you. So Matthew, you've been a great guest. I know I said that once, but I wouldn't have had you on if I didn't think you would be. So thank you for joining, everybody. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Dennis. Good night, John Boy. And we'll, if you don't get the reference, call me on Al. Steph doesn't get the reference. Are you old enough to get the reference? Oh my God, I am old. Good night, John Boy.
Take care.